Right now on Hoosier News Source, the election has people coming together to share their joys and frustrations.
And learn how one organization is taking a stand for unity and safety on the Beeline Trail.
These stories and more coming up. Hoosier News Source starts now. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Hoosier News Source. I'm Lauren Becker.
And I'm Meredith Juliet. Demonstrators are out in numbers after last week's election results. Sunday afternoon, Indiana Recovery Alliance held a rally at IU's Sample Gates. The goal of the rally was for people to come together to discuss ways to keep vulnerable community members safe.
I woke up on Wednesday morning with a hole in my heart where my sense of humor used to live. And I held my girlfriend and I cried and I thought about what it meant to have Mike Pence as the future Vice President of the United States.
Multiple groups and service providers like Bloomington Solidarity Network and Bloomington Against Islamophobia also attended the rally. The Indiana Recovery Alliance says they want to help marginalized communities by bringing them together. The Indiana Recovery Alliance also says its supporters should not lose the ground they've gained in recent years. The group encourages people to, quote, resist, defend, and push forward. To learn more about the Indiana Recovery Alliance or how you can get involved, visit indianarecoveryalliance.org.
The Indiana Recovery Alliance was not the only group to come together this past week. The Middle Way House partnered with the City of Bloomington to raise awareness on sexual violence and crime through a community rally. IUS TV reporter Alex Eady attended the Hands Across the Trail rally and tells us more about the event's powerful message.
How's it sound out there? Is okay? Okay, awesome.
Safety, security, and solidarity. All three were important themes promoted during a community rally last Saturday called Hands Across the Trail. Through poems and song, this community rally held at Bloomington City Hall focused on promoting unity.
Think about what can each of us give.
And advocated for safety on the popular Bloomington Beeline Trail.
Here on the Beeline Trail, walkers, runners, and bikers hope to feel safe whether accompanied or alone. After a rape was reported just last week on this trail, community members are now starting to second guess how safe they really are.
In response, the Middle Way House and the City of Bloomington partnered to bring awareness to the community.
What I want to see for the future of the Beeline Trail is a space that everybody feels welcome, everybody feels safe at every time of day or night.
And also spark a change.
I do events like this, it really helps me feel like I'm making a difference and like things can change, you know. And I think that even though this event isn't like a change in law or policy, it inspires people.
And an inspiring message is all it takes to make a difference. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Alex Eady.
The Middle Way House and the City of Bloomington hope to continue to keep the Beeline Trail safe through safety education and community action. For more information on how you can get involved, visit www.middlewayhouse.org.
Well, an IU scientist has received a $750,000 grant to detect learning disabilities. The grant is from the National Science Foundation. Jorge Jose and collaborators will study body movement to detect learning disabilities. The study, titled Learning to Move and Moving to Learn, could change the way doctors diagnose children who need learning assistance. The study will be pioneered at IU and Rutgers University.
The third annual Bloomington event took place last Saturday, attracting comic book and game lovers from all across campus. The Indiana Memorial Union hosted the event from 3 in the afternoon, lasting until midnight. Students attended a variety of panels and competed in trivia competition games. Topics being discussed included superheroes, pop culture, and anime. The event plans to continue offering students a glimpse into the world of their favorite comic book and video game characters for many years to come.
Well, coming up on Hoosier News Source, a story of hope coming out of the tragic death of Hannah Wilson.
And why some trees around campus are wearing sweaters.
These stories ahead. Stay with us.
It's an honor to be here. after suffering a season-ending injury in late March.
As you can see behind me.
Welcome back. Hope and love for others, just two of the many messages Hannah Wilson's family wants to send to the community. Hoosier News Source's Sydney Miller joins us in studio with the details. Sydney?
Thanks, Lauren. Hoosiers are very familiar with Hannah Wilson, the beloved IU senior who was murdered last April, and the recent life sentencing for her killer, Daniel Messel. But you may not know the hope that is coming out of this heartbreaking situation, and in a most unlikely place, prison.
Robin Wilson is no ordinary mother, and Hannah is no ordinary dog. Robin is the mother of Hannah Wilson, the IU senior who was murdered last April. And Hannah is the Indiana Canine Assistant Network, or ICANN, service dog, being trained in Hannah Wilson's honor and memory. Robin and her daughter Haley first met Hannah Dog last year, and Robin says the love was immediate.
Haley and I went and it was love at first sight. She literally jumped into my arms and threw her paws around my neck, and it was like Hannah was giving me a hug.
Robin is a veterinarian in Noblesville, and many of her patients are ICANN dogs. The Wilson family wanted to do something positive to carry on Hannah's legacy of kindness and unconditional love for every person. And when one of Robin's patients suggested training a service dog in Hannah's honor, it only seemed fitting, given they both stood for very similar things.
She would be very honored to know that this dog also loves everyone equally. And she doesn't care whether her owner someday will be in a wheelchair, because she will give unconditional love no matter what. And that was what Hannah really stood for.
ICANN doesn't only change the lives of the children and adults with disabilities who receive these service dogs. They also give the inmates who train the dogs a sense of purpose and a way to give back to the community.
I really believe in the cause, you know. It helps us out so much, and then it can possibly go on and help somebody else out so much. It's just, I think it's a win-win.
And through Hannah the ICANN dog, Hannah Wilson's legacy is only just beginning.
It's unfortunate that she didn't get to do what she wanted to accomplish, but maybe she did anyways. You know, maybe she did anyways. She's still involved, but just from the other side. I just don't want her to be forgotten.
ICANN has set up a Hannah Wilson GoFundMe in hopes of opening an endowment in her name to fund Hannah the dog's training and that of many ICANN dogs after her. The goal is to raise a minimum of $50,000 to establish a permanent endowment, and there are currently only $7,000 short of that goal. All of the funds will go towards training future ICANN service dogs to continue on Hannah's legacy of love and changing lives on both ends of the leash.
Thanks, Sydney. Dunwood's got a makeover last Monday as part of the Bloomington Urban Woodlands Project. Activist groups gathered to plant flowers and other vegetation to preserve the liveliness of Bloomington and IU's campus. An Indiana University Office of Sustainability Research Development grant for Dunwood's made the project possible. The project was not only to preserve the environment, but also to honor IU's title of being one of the most beautiful campuses. For more on how you can get involved, visit www.indiana.edu and search for the Bloomington Urban Woodlands Project.
Some trees in Bloomington will be adorning fuzzy sweaters for the winter. The sweaters are knitted on the trees in support of the Middleway House and are just a fun winter staple on the square. Anyone can sponsor a tree. The funds benefit victims of domestic violence here in town. Sponsors use colorful yarn to create their theme. IU basketball coach Tom Crean sponsors an IU themed tree. The sweaters will keep the trees warm throughout the winter and into the spring. IU basketball is back in action, giving Hoosier fans plenty to cheer about this past weekend. IUSTV sports reporter Juliana Sherry joins us in studio with this weekend's highlights. Juliana?
Many varsity sports were in action this past weekend, including the men's soccer team who traveled to Westfield, Indiana for the Big Ten tournament. The Hoosiers fought hard against Wisconsin, scoring the equalizing goal in the 79th minute after trailing the Badgers by 1. Unfortunately for Indiana, a victory was not to be as they lost in penalty kicks 4-3. The soccer team will play in the NCAA tournament on Sunday against the winner of the Akron versus Villanova first-round match. On Friday night, the men's and women's basketball teams tipped off the regular season with the men on the road and the women here at home. Out in sunny Hawaii, the 11th-ranked men faced off against the Kansas Jayhawks in one of their toughest battles in the non-conference schedule. The game was closely contested for the entirety of the match, resulting in a tie at the end of regulation. However, Big Ten co-freshman of the week Curtis Jones emerged from the bench, scoring 7 of Indiana's 14 points in overtime to seal the win against the number 3 team in the nation. The men host UMass Lowell on Wednesday in the home opener at the Simon Scott Assembly Hall. Speaking of the Hoosiers' home court, that is where the women's team opened up their season with a victory over Vanderbilt 94-61. Senior guard Alexis Gassian led the team with a career-high 22 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists, while junior Tyra Buss became the fastest player in school history to score 1,000 points. The win gave Indiana their first regular season win over an SEC school since 2006. The women hit the road on Thursday to face Chattanooga before squaring off against Western Kentucky on Saturday. The men's and women's swimming and diving teams hosted Cincinnati on Friday in the Hoosiers' last dual meet until January. Both the men's and women's teams were without their top 5 swimmers due to the USA College Challenge in Indianapolis, but they didn't miss a stroke, capturing first place in 24 out of 32 events. The women swept diving, backstroke, breaststroke, and butterfly on their way to an 81-point victory. The number 2 men's team placed first and second in 9 events, triumphing over the Bearcats 195-102. That's all for the sports wrap-up. Back to you both at the desk.
That's all we have for you this week. For more campus and local news, visit our website at iustv.com.
And like us on social media, like us on Facebook at IUSTV News, and follow us on Twitter at Hoosier NW Source.
From all of us here at IUSTV, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.